And welcome everybody to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money taking. The man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of YouTube entertainment today. Daryl's out. And today, folks, I will be doing my longest endeavor that I think I've ever committed to as far as tier list goes. So I'm not really worried about who jumps in and out because this shit's going to take me a while. I am going to rank every season of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, the spin offs, and all of that good shit. In the spirit of how I was feeling about these, and I just kind of want to put a nice bow on my thoughts because honestly, I think I may watch like I may follow these new spin-offs as long as I can, like Daryl and Dead City, and that might be it. But I kind of want to give you guys an idea of my feelings. And now, ranking some of these might take longer than others because I do, when I get into The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, I do want to get into some pivotal episodes that I actually like that contribute to me ranking the season where I rank it. Because when you're doing a season breakdown and you're ranking an overall season of television, it's not just one singular episode, but it's a season as a whole. And despite having 13 to 16 episodes, really the Walking Dead structure is like part one of a season is 8 episodes, part two is the next eight. So they do like, I think it started around season four or so, where they did season 4A, season 4B, that kind of a thing. So uh, it's hard to tier list this because um, they're they broke it up very fucking weirdly. So, anyways, uh, without further ado, because this is gonna take a fucking long time, let's get into this. This is going to be my tier list for The Walking Dead, and as you guys can see here, I have a full breakdown here. I did my own sort of tier list, my own kind of cool cool little shading. So I'm going to go through the tiers and what they represent on the tier list maker here, and then I'm just kind of give you my breakdown for each one. So we have at the S tier, they don't know who they're fucking with. If you guys are fans of The Walking Dead, you get that reference. But I believe it was in season five. Uh, the episode was called A. Um, then, of course, for the A tier, I have Carl. For the B tier, I have We Are the Walking Dead. For the C tier, I have Judas, and just the crap tier, just garbage is The World Beyond. You can guess what I feel about that fucking show. So we're going to jump into it. And I figured instead of doing the seasons right away, because they're going to take a really long fucking time, because I have every season, I'm going to start with the uh, spin-offs and then kind of go from the spin-offs to the mainstream shows because it'd just be a lot fucking easier than trying to rank every single one of these. So I don't know how many people will watch this. This is my own personal thing. Uh, so here we go. I'll give you guys my thoughts, my breakdown, and you know, my full breakdown and complete thoughts of The Walking Dead. Maybe one day I'll do like an individual rating of the season, really dive deep into the different seasons and what I feel about them. So here we go. First up on the tier list, we have, if you guys don't know, these were before these four new spinoff. There were like technically Fear the Walking Dead and like The World Beyond and Tales from The Walking Dead were the first spin-offs. So it's kind of like Dead City, Daryl Dixon, and The Ones Who Lives weren't the original spin-offs. So let's start with Tales from the Walking Dead. And this is an intriguing one because this one, not very many people know about, and it's written by, of course, my favorite fucking uh, executive director, producer, Scott M. Gimple. Oh my God! Sometimes this man brings us good stuff. Sometimes he brings us shit. And the thing that pisses me off is that this spinoff has Terry Crews in it, and his is probably the best story. But you could kind of see him in the poster here. Yeah, Terry Crews is in this, and it has many stories. Some connect directly into the Walking Dead universe, and then some have absolutely nothing to fucking do with it, and they're just little side tales. Now, in theory, this could be really fun, a really great kind of cool, neat thing to do. But the writing for this show is so fucking bad. And I can't stress enough how fucking terrible the writing is for this show. So I'm going to put Tales from the Walking Dead in the World Beyond. This is very just basic grade school level writing. The best, and the thing with an anthology, because this is set like in an anthology show, the thing with in an anthology series, you have to have good, compelling stories in order to keep people invested in your series. And unfortunately, uh, Tales of the Walking Dead wants to be like an American Horror Story, kind of, all these cool different tales, but it just doesn't reach that for me. It's very lackluster. It's very vanilla. It's just a very bleh kind of show. So for me, I don't appreciate it wasting my time. Fuck this show. Let's move on to our next here on the list. And I have to plug in my headset because this is going to be a fucking long stream. So, next on the list, we have The World Beyond. Oh boy, The World Beyond is fucking terrible. So, The World Beyond is basically a two 10 episode limited series kind of spin off shows. They were only meant for us to be this uh, kind of side piece. And it's basically about these kids in Nebraska exactly 10 years after the zombie apocalypse. And it focuses on the first generation of these survivors who are growing up in the zombie apocalypse. Um, and it's just fucking bad. It's a bad show. It's boring, and I'm sorry, I hate to be this guy, but there's child actors in this, and they're just fucking god awful. They're terrible. There's like maybe two good characters in this whole entire fucking show. There's this really good character called Silas who has a very uh, interesting backstory. And then we do have appearances from Alan Edwards from the very first season of The Walking Dead, the CDC guy. He makes an appearance in the show. And if you watch this with uh, the uh, the ones that live, it kind of makes more sense now that we have that. But before, this show came out a couple of years before these other spin-offs. So the stuff they set up, it makes sense now, but in the grander scheme of things, it was just not very well done. And the acting is bad. The fucking shot composition and camera work and backgrounds and shit, it was bad. It goes World Beyond goes in the World Beyond. It's trash. It's garbage. I hate it. Now, Season 2 of The World Beyond. Uh, I would put that in Judas. It is very much D tier kind of show. Um, or it's a C tier kind of show because this is just garbage. I went S, A, B, C, and then trash. I was getting really fancy with this, but yeah, this is a uh step up from Tales and from the original World Beyond, but it's really not much better. The thing that makes this second season much better and more tolerable to watch is the fact that you do, and I hate the character of Judas. I hate her so much. She's the most bland, flat, uninteresting character. I don't blame the actress. It's just kind of, even in the comic books, she was just not a very good character. So I just don't enjoy her, but this show in general was so bland and flat that Judas coming into it actually made it pretty fucking exciting. And even though I don't like her in the mainstream Walking Dead, in this show, she functions more and is more useful as far as the storylines go. So I give this a pass. I will put it in the C tier. Actually, I should probably create one more tier because hold on a second. Let's see. I should have created another tier. How the fuck did I do that? You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. So yeah. Um. So yeah, we're just gonna have S, A, B, C, and then garbage. So this is just the tippy top. There we go. Second best, tolerable, kind of just blah and trash. So, anyways, here we go. We're getting to the good stuff. Dead City, I already did a review on all three of these. You could check those out, and I did them earlier. So, I'm not going to rehash my feelings, but for me, Dead City is in. Ooh, this is kind of hard for me. I'm going to say. I'm going to put it in Carl. Um, Dead City is probably I have it above Daryl just because I enjoy Negan more. But both of these shows are fucking excellent, and um, I really think that the different direction that they chose to go in Dead City really appeals to me. Actually, putting it in New York, um, the different designscapes and things like that. So it was good. I liked it. Great, great stuff. It sits comfortably in the A tier under Girl. Okay, so the next one, Daryl Dixon. Well, obviously, if I have Dead City and Girl, then I'm gonna put Daryl Dixon right behind Dead City. I think these are close to S tier, but this is really a case where I have to see more seasons and where the story goes. Like if we get a season 2 and it drops off, then I would have prematurely rated these higher than I wanted to. The truth of the matter is, I can't really rank these. Like if next year comes out and by extension it makes these seasons better, or there's more to the story and I find it really interesting, these could move up. But as it stands right now, I just absolutely positively love these. And why they're not in the top, we'll get to that. But for right now, I just absolutely positively love these series. I love everything that they're doing and all of that. So, uh, but anyways, sorry about this. The lady was texting me and she just got back. So, anyways, sorry about that. So, anyways, let's move on. The Ones Who Live. Now, as much as I blasted this show, it is not on the quality level of The World Beyond or Tales of the Walking Dead or the first season of The World Beyond. I place it right in the middle. We Are the Walking Dead. Look, I think a lot of people have cope about this show. Uh, I think a lot of people want this show to be better than it is. And the truth of the matter is, it's not very good towards the ending. And that to me is the worst disappointment about this show. It was just so much buildup, so many years, and maybe it's just me and I didn't get the answers I wanted. You could say that, whatever you're using to cope with it. Trust me, I was there. I was about 4 episodes deep. I got into 5, and I realized this show was going downhill. But that last fucking episode, there's no excuse for that writing. There is no excuse. There's no justification for how fucking off the rails the fucking final episode goes. Your fucking final episode just takes a fucking like nosedive, fucking cliff jump into the fucking abyss. Uh, nah, I can't justify it. But I can't say it's as bad as these other 3 seasons. Like, even with The World Beyond season 2 slightly better, I'd never put it up there. So it sits comfortably in the middle section of these. And that's the interesting thing about The Walking Dead. I feel like I'll have a lot more on the bottom here, but for the time being, we have a good bit on the top. So let's go to season 1, the very first season of the OG Walking Dead, the granddaddy, the father of them all, the one that started it, and is the reason why we have the show we have now. And of course, you guys already know, I got to do it. They don't know who they're fucking with. This show, this is the S tier, this is the gold standard. This show came out swinging. 6 episodes, and this was written and or it was written and directed by Frank Darabont. This show is amazing, and I want to highlight, as I do these seasons, just a couple of key episodes. And I got my Netflix pulled up so I can remember them. Days Gone, the very first pilot episode's fucking amazing. Tell It to the Frogs is really good, where you have Rick reunited with his family. Even episode 2 is good. God, it's so hard to pick. Let me see. Wildfire is good. Uh, when they uh, they have to leave Jim behind. Who, God, if you guys remember, he's like one of the first deaths ever on the show. Wouldn't be the last. Uh, Jim was just like kind of going crazy. You find out later he hit a walker bite. He witnessed his son and his family being torn apart. He has a fucking story. And here's the thing about the first Walking Dead that you have to understand why the craze is the way it is. Like, a lot of people go, "Oh, you still watch that show?" But you have to understand, when The Walking Dead came out, that was the best zombie content, and I swear to God, this is the truth. It's the best zombie content ever. They had Talking Dead. They had uh, a merch, like the directors and writers and cast members would come on and talk about the show. Like, this was epic, and The Walking Dead season 1 started it. Like, I could go on about how great it is, and I might do season breakdowns of each individual season, but it's a long fucking show. And right now I'm only on season 1, or no, season 2. But anyways, like, this was fucking great. I loved it. It is like one of my favorite seasons, probably. So let's go to the first one, and they split it up a little bit differently. So this is season 2A, and then they have season 2B, season 3A, season 3B, and so on and so such. You'll get as we go along, because they start doing a split season format, where it's 13 and then later 16 episodes, but they go 8 and 8. This one was a weird 13, so there's one more episode than the others. I don't know what happened there for the sake of continuity. But let's go to season 2. And season 2, and this might be a hot take. Some people are split about this, but I'm going to put season 2 up in they don't know who they're fucking with. Look, like season 2, a lot of people have problems, and this was an issue when you first watch it on television, right? When you're first watching it on television and you can't have those breaks, uh, I understand people's complaints. But honestly, the writing for this is still strong. The writing is actually pretty top tier. You have Herschel in here, who's one of my favorite characters. There's a lot of shit. You have Lori. No one fucking likes Lori. I feel so bad for that actress, but really the direction they took her character was, she was one of the quite frustrating characters. But you have Shane in here, who's everybody's favorite person. This is very comic book accurate. And the dude who plays Shane would wind up playing Punisher and being a great Frank Castle. So you could really see in this season of how great this actor was going to be. But some of my favorite episodes would have to be, I'd have to say, pretty much Dead Already, which is where they discover the barn, where Herschel believes these people will come back to life. And so they open this barn full of walkers. And this is one of the most shocking scenes in the Walking Dead history. And anybody who followed this, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there is a search for Carol's daughter going on. And the thing that made this so great, because on television, there's kind of a couple of rules. You never kill kids, and um, you know, and you don't kill animals and things like that. But they broke one of the rules. That's the point of the story. And so they're searching for Carol's daughter. And this whole time, there's been a search for the daughter, and Shane is slowly losing his mind. This is a great arc for Shane's character, and he just decides he's going to take charge of this situation. And he opens the barn against Herschel's wishes. All these walkers start flooding out, and they start shooting them, boom, one after the other. And Shane's taunting him, and he's like, "He's dead, no response, blah blah blah. This is what happens when you go soft." And the last walker is the daughter of Carol. And it is the most heartbreaking fucking scene I've ever seen on television. Like, it's up there with like powerful Breaking Bad moments. Just like nobody wants to shoot her. They all stop and they look. The camera goes in slow motion. You can see the looks on everybody's faces. Even Shane stops. And Rick takes his fucking gun out, and all you hear is the boom and fade to black. And that's the first episode is Secrets, and then they pick up with pretty much Dead Already, and it's just like the aftermath of this massacre. Herschel's pissed and going to get drunk. It's just great writing, and I could go on. There's so many episodes. Better Angels is really good. The season final, beside the dying fire, is excellent. When everything just goes to shit, and it is where Rick and Shane have their ultimate showdown, and it's just a powerful moment. The acting on display by Andrew Lincoln, and dude who plays Shane, I'm fucking drawing a blank on his name, uh, but they they play off of each other so well, just so well. It's amazing. Let me see if I can find the actors now. Why the fuck are you not giving me the actors here? God damn it. I think I have to go under the individual. Here we go. Go under the individual seasons. Okay, let me see. I got to get to the actors list. Here we go. Main cast. So John um, Berthal, who is also on the Punisher show and plays the best Punisher ever. John and Andrew act their ass off in this moment where basically Shane has lost his fucking mind, and he 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 is telling Rick he's just not built for this world, and it's a whole conversation where you realize Shane is actually not the one who's built for this world. He's the one cracking under the pressure. And as we know later, our boy Rick is exactly what this world needs. And so he stabs Shane as Shane goes to shoot him, and then Carl has to be the one to put Shane down as a walker. And it is just crazy. And then there's the big reveal that he never told the rest of the cast of The Walking Dead that you don't have to be scratched or bitten to become a zombie. When you die, you turn. And that by itself is just so devastating. It's just it's like you're like, "Oh man." You feel the hope drain from everybody in in the group. So, great stuff. I love it. We'll move on. So, the next seasons is where they start breaking them up. And they kind of go like 8 dates. So, this is just another season 2 here. So, you know, these are 2 parts of season 2, part 1 and part 2, both great stuff. Love it. So let's move on to season 3. Season 3 of The Walking Dead is my favorite season personally, and we are introduced to one of my favorite characters. I do have some discrepancies about the way they portray him here in the show, but we have the introduction of the governor. One of the best. I would say he's probably the best villain from the Walking Dead universe, as far as I'm concerned. Um, just because of the fact that he's the most relatable and you kind of understand his goals. So I mean, it's really hard to explain, but um, I mean, oh man, I mean, he's super interesting character. Um, and you got the scientist guy Milton. Um, there's just so many. There's so many great characters in this. David Morrissey plays the governor, and he is just fantastic. His interpretation of the governor. So, um, for part 1 of this arc, I'm going to put it in the A tier because, okay, the way they break this down is into 2 parts structurally for the season. The first part, I don't really particularly care for. The first part is kind of a tease. And essentially, all right, in the graphic novel, the governor attacks them once, and that's kind of the end. The show chose to do this thing, and it would hurt the show going forward, where they break it up into 2 parts and they defend against the governor's first attack, and then his people wind up joining, and it's a whole big thing. Um, I don't like the way they broke it up. I know it's like the same story, but it feels very different. There is some good stuff, which is why it's in Carl. It's still top quality acting, directing, all of that. We have Merle's return in this, um, played by the dude who plays Yondu. Um, there's great acting, just all around. The issue that I have, Michael Rooker, there we go. But the issue that I have is that they build up so much great tension. Hey, Justin, what's up? Um, this is my own thing. I have watched every spinoff of The Walking Dead and every season, and I'm ranking them. No, this is just one I found. Um, I just created my own list using the tier maker. So, anyways, getting back to what I was saying, uh, I don't like the first part of the Governor saga. Um, I think it's very good. It's great writing. The issue is breaking up the battles, and they'll do this a lot as the show goes on. So I I and your rankings are wrong. No, no, I'm talking about The Walking Dead. We never did a Walking Dead ranking. This is just my tier of every single Walking Dead spinoff and or show, season, Fear the Walking Dead. I'm doing them all. This is has nothing to do with anything we've done. Just so you know, the S tier is they don't know who they're fucking with. The A tier is Carl. The B tier is We Are the Walking Dead. C tier is Judas, and the shit tier is The World Beyond. Uh, so that's kind of where I'm at. Uh, so I'm just ranking these. If you want to join in, I'll send you a link because my StreamYard isn't working, so I'm using a different StreamYard. You can give your own thoughts and opinions if you have time. I'll send you an invite. Um, I'm just kind of going through it, so I'm not too far into it yet. Hold on a second. Let me get on X here. I just did the first season. I did the second season, and now I'm kind of on the third season. I've got a fucking long ways to go before I get into it. I didn't know you were a huge fan of The Walking Dead, man. I would have invited you on. Gosh, I guess we do have a lot in common, and this is why me and Justin get along so well. And also, you know, so I sent you an invite, buddy. Just you can hop on in, tell me your opinions. I'll show you uh, my ones that I've done so far. I'll get your thoughts and opinions if we got to flip them. But I think we can agree on where I put most of this stuff. Um. So yeah. Um. Anyways. Uh. So the season season 3 part 1 I put at Carl. It's an A tier, but I don't think it's at the top. It's just they broke it up kind of weird, and I don't like structurally how they broke it up. So that's my real issues with part 1 of this. And I always like from here on out, most of my complaints when it comes to later seasons will be this part 1, part 2 structuring that they do. I really fucking hate it. But yeah, there is some good episodes within that. So I'm gonna highlight a couple of episodes here. Seed is really good. Where you deal with the pregnancy that we've been teased for a while. And finally, we get with Lori. I know that's a fucking terrible thing to say, but I'm sorry. I never enjoyed Lori's character. And here we are. Justin Proper, what's up, buddy?
Oh, my camera's fucking up. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I never knew you were a fan of The Walking Dead. Man, I would have invited you on. I just did my rankings. You can check them out later. I
Okay.
did my rankings of uh Dead City,
Mhm.
uh, uh Daryl Dixon, and the ones who live. And I already did my tiers for them. I put Dead City at A and Daryl Dixon at A, and I put the ones who live at a B because I
Mhm.
didn't like the ending. I hated the last episode. The last two episodes were fucking terrible.
Hmm.
So and of course I think we can agree the first spin-offs, Tales of the Walking Dead. I don't even know how many people actually sat through that horse shit. I only liked one, and it was the one that guest starred Terry Crews. Uh,
Oh, yeah. Well, are we also doing like the video game too, since it's part of it? the Telltale
No,
games?
no, I'm only doing the shows. The video
Oh, okay.
games are kind of their own thing. I mean, there are connections, and they've said they are connected to the shows, but that would take too fucking long. I mean, look at all these seasons. I gotta get through. There's a fucking long list. So I didn't have time to include the games. But so far, I have the first season,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you get this reference, but for my S tier, I put they don't know who they're fucking with.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, for the A tier, we have Carl.
Cool.
For
Mm.
yeah, for the B tier, we have We Are the Walking Dead. For tier, I put Judas, and then I just have the trash tier, which is The World
Okay.
Beyond.
Well, mine would have been slightly different. It would have been more colorful. But just with the actual colors, you could change them. Yeah, but just to make them look better, because like those middle ones just kind of look all like the same. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. I just wanted clever sayings. I was more
Oh,
interested
okay.
in that than the actual the color
Oh, okay.
scheme.
I'm bitching about little details. It's fine. But no, this is good. So what are we starting with?
Okay, so let me just get your feelings, and I'll go by the order I went to. Tales of the Walking Dead. Where do you feel that places? And I'll
That-
adjust it if you
Oh, that's
think.
fine. That works.
Okay, The World Beyond season one.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, and then season two I put slightly higher because Jadis made an appearance, and after watching The Ones Who Live, a
Mhm.
lot of the plot details from this kind of tie in directly to this one, so I bumped it slightly.
I I think your rankings are accurate so far.
Okay, and
Right.
then
Okay. Then.
the ones who live, I put this at B tier. I think it's very well shot. I love having Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero back as, uh, you know, Rick and Michonne. I think they fucking kill it, and they should get some kind of award for their acting. My problem is, and we've touched on this a lot, fucking Scott Gimple and his writing. The season final is so fucking terrible. It really, for me, drags down the rest of the show.
Okay.
Like it it pissed me off. Something
Mm,
fierce. I
okay.
don't know if you've seen it.
Mm, probably not. No.
Okay, so and then I've got Dead City, which is Negan and Maggie teamed up
Man,
as a
I didn't know there were so many fucking spin-offs. This is ridiculous. What a bunch
dude.
of
The spin
greedy bastards, Like what the fuck? Like, I think we
They're
get it
trying
by
to
now.
create a Walking Dead universe. You know how it goes. They want to
No,
cash
but
in on
like,
it.
see, that's something that I'm like, okay, we can have a show, but it's zombies. It's a step above ghost movies for sure, because ghost movies are just boring or like not scary, or if they're trying to be scary, I just laugh hysterically. But like zombies, it's like, oh, they're so slow, or like, okay, they run sometimes, and that's cool. But I'm like, oh, if
You
there's
got to
a
watch Daryl Dixon, and it's on AMC.
okay,
You can watch them all for free, but definitely watch Daryl Dixon. They make very variant zombies that have like acid blood, like fucking
okay,
aliens.
all right,
They get very creative with the zombies. That's why it's rated up there. I just like Negan more, so I put Negan ahead. But uh, these two shows are so much different from The Walking Dead.
okay,
So definitely I check those out if you're a fan. And then we're going into the mainline show that we both know. The first season I put at S tier. I mean, you just got to. It's just 8 perfect episodes to me. I can't The only issue I had with the first season was maybe the CDC stuff. It was kind of a weird way to end it. TS19, where they go and find out that everybody's got the virus. You don't find it out till the second season, but they go and that doctor guy plans on blowing up the CDC. I don't know. It felt like a very anticlimactic ending to the season, but that's
okay,
my only gripe. Like the rest of the fucking show is just perfect. And for a premiere, that first episode, I remember watching it when it premiered as a fan of the graphic novels, and I was like, they fucking nailed it. Like Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes is just, mwah. And then Shane, played by John Berthal, um, just everybody is just immaculate acting. So that's my S tier. I also put the second season, part 1 and part 2, up at the top in S tier because I love Herschel. I was talking about the most shocking scene in pretty much in television in general, where Shane opens the barn door and there's all those zombies. And remember, they're searching for Carl. Not why am I saying Carl? What's her name? They're searching for uh, Carol's daughter, for like the whole season, and then they find out she was in the fucking barn with the already dead with the other walkers the whole time, and she's the last one who comes out. And then Rick takes his gun out and fucking shoots her, and it cuts to black. That to me is the most perfect episode of television. And they end it right there, and you had to wait a whole entire week. And you were just stuck the whole week with this what the fuck moment in your head. And like everybody stops, and I love how it goes into slow motion. There's no music, no sound, and then he just fucking takes his gun out and goes sorry and shoots her in the head. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, people don't understand why we get so pissed off with the later seasons of The Walking Dead. This was the quality writing they used to have. It was like moments like that where you go, holy fuck.
Yep.
So yeah, you got anything to add to that?
No, because I haven't seen it.
Oh, really? What?
Honestly, I just got off of work and I wanted to chat. And also, I'm petty and I want to be a part of all the tier lists. because technically, like, if we're talking about the ones that like we started to do with like you, me, Chris, and PB, I'm the only one who's been a part of all of them, and that shall continue.
Okay, so
But actually, but in reality, though, what I do know about The Walking Dead is that I say I haven't seen it. I haven't seen like full seasons at all, just some episodes here and there. And I read more about it than I did actually watch it because I wanted to know what it was, but I didn't want to sit through zombie stuff. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I might check it out someday. But then this is what happened. They made all these goddamn spin-offs, and now it's like Star Trek. It's impossible to start. I'm like,
thankfully they don't do the 24 episode format. They do 16, but it's broken down like 8 and 8. So after
yeah,
8
but like,
episodes is like the final, and then another 8.
but hold on, man. Like, there's a whole back catalog now that I need to catch up to, and I don't know if I can do that. It's been like 15 years worth of content. It's like if I tried to watch Cheers and Frasier, like it just wouldn't work. 22 years of content, now 23. I just can't do it. It's too much.
I mean, I get it. Shit. Okay, there we go. I get it. It's a very daunting task. So I'm
By
just
the way,
kind
I hope. By the way, I hope you weren't like too upset that I like pulled a fast one.
of no, very good. You should have kept up the charade.
You think okay? What I was about to do was I could not possibly sit through 2 hours of only you talking, and I'm just being like, yeah, that's cool. But then you asked me. I just promised myself the first thing I would do is that if you asked like what I thought, like never seen it, and it would be like, what's this? Walking Dead. He's never seen it. Never seen it. How many fucking things are there?
So there's 11 seasons of the mainline show. There is 8 seasons of the spinoff Fear the Walking Dead, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little side spinoffs. Hey, rookie.
Oh Jesus.
So
Hi, rookie. Hey, guess what? Guess what, rookie? I haven't seen it either, and I just tricked him into giving me the link so I could just have him go on and rant, go on about how great these things are. And
so then I'll break it down, and you could
and
see if you're interested. How about that?
yeah,
That'll work.
and I've already had like a lot of the main things spoiled for me. Even
So yeah,
more
so this
just
won't even be
now.
spoilers for you,
No,
really.
everything was spoilers now. Like I have I guess like the whole plot line has been like leaked to me. So oh my gosh, Rookie. So Rookie, what he's talking about there's a clip of me now that he finally fucking released that we did in like November. We did like a reaction video to like a fan film, and I was wearing a suit because I had just retired, and I was like, I'd never worn a suit before in a stream, so I'm like, I'm gonna do that, and I was walking around. Of course, I'm dressed up in the suit, but do you think I'm wearing the suit pants? No, absolutely.
Well, what I might
And that's
go
the joke.
and
You're gonna have to see
do
it.
just to kind of get you caught up,
You know.
I will.
Here's okay. Well, also here's what I do know as well. Glenn starts out as like a pizza delivery guy. Then he gets thrown into this situation, and then he meets this woman, and then I like hearing about his storyline. Then he gets a fake out death before his real death that we don't see for an entire year. Like I imagine
Well,
people are
luckily you're joining at a great part because you don't have to wait.
mad. Hmm?
You're joining a good part because you don't have to wait for that.
Oh yeah, sure. I remembered it at the time and everyone being excited, and I'm like, who is this guy? He has like nails on a bat. Good for him.
My favorite Negan. We'll get to Negan. I'll play a clip for why Negan's such a badass. So, uh, I will now go to part two because I
Yeah,
do
you know
have a
what?
lot.
Actually, though, I really do think I should leave because I have literally nothing to contribute other than like some of the few thoughts that I've had.
All right. Well, let me show you a clip of why I like season three, part two. This has some of the best stuff, and I'm gonna play a clip from one of the greatest moments in Walking Dead history. Now, a bit of a spoiler, but you've had this
Okay.
spoiled, so it doesn't matter anyways.
No, this whole series has like pretty much been spoiled for me. Like, so I don't know. It makes me not even want to watch it at this point. Like, because I'm like, yeah, I'll just think it sucks because it's predictable. But that's because I know what happens.
So let me go to the clip here, and this is a speech, one of the infamous Rick speeches, and this is why this is S tier for me. This is one of the greatest deaths in Dead history of a main character. So let's roll the clip.
You got maybe about an hour of sunlight left. I suggest you start packing.
So the governor drives a fucking tank into this prison that they're
Oh, the
staying
eye
at.
patch guy is the governor. I thought like Negan called himself the governor like
No,
after.
Negan is just Negan. He's a whole different ball of wax. So this is
Yeah,
the
I'm aware. Like he kills a couple of big main characters, then he sympathizes with Coral for some reason, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Is he dick to
Negan. But the
Rick?
governor is just an evil guy and kind of psychopathic. He rolled up to the place that they're staying at with a fucking tank. You can see the shit on fire. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna kill everybody, and he's gonna kill Maggie's father, Herschel, if he doesn't let him in. He's got a sword to his throat." And this speech is one of the best speeches in Walking Dead history. So here we go. Very emotional moment here.
We will not walk quietly into the night.
So that's Herschel. This actor actually died after this
Oh,
filming of this.
The longer you wait,
oh.
Yeah,
the
he's a
harder
great
it's going to be for you to get out of here.
We can all. We can all live together.
I mean, this acting is so great.
There's enough room for all of us.
More than enough. I don't think my family would sleep well knowing that you were under the same roof.
We live in different cell blocks. We never have to see each other till we're all ready.
Oh.
It could work. You know it could. It coulda. But it can't. Not after Woodbury.
So that was the settlement.
Not after
Destroyed
Andrew.
the guys.
Look, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Fact is, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder than standing here shooting at each other. But I don't think we have a choice.
We don't. You do.
We're not leaving. You try and force us, we'll fight back. Like you said, gunshots will just bring more of them out. They'll take down the fences. Without the fences, this place is worthless. Now, we can all live in the prison, or none of us can.
Fix the damn fences.
And that right there is the sisters of
Those are
his
dudes.
daughters.
Those are dudes. Just because they have longer hair doesn't mean they're girls. All right.
That's his daughters.
Wait, that old guy has daughters that young and that hot?
Hey,
How is
look,
that possible?
comic book. It's comic book. Yes, it is bad. Thank you. I agree.
You, in the ponytail, is this what you want? Is this what any of you want?
What we want is what you got.
And that guy's in it too.
Period.
This dude's in every fucking thing.
Time for you to leave, asshole.
Look, I
Name.
fought him before. And after we took in his old friends, they become leaders in what we have here.
And now
Now you put down your weapons, walk through those gates. You're one of us.
And he's starting to change everybody's mind.
We let go of all of it. And nobody dies. Everyone who's alive right now. Everyone who's made it this far. We've all done the worst kinds of things just to stay alive. But we can still come back. We're not too far gone.
And that's the title of the episode. Not
We
Too
get
Far
to come
Gone.
back. I know. We all can change.
Like, oh my god, the music, the slow motion. Like this is peak cinema.
Liar. No!
That is that scene, and then it proceeds into one of the best like boss fights ever. He fights this dude hand to hand, and he gets his like face beaten in. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what The Walking Dead used to be. Like the first, if you watch nothing, watch like the first like 5 seasons, I'd say, are worth it just for that fucking great acting. Like that is top tier, and that's why it's S tier for me. That is top tier acting.
He did a good job. I just think the lines are cheesy. But they were.
All are the lines are all relevant to things that were said earlier.
Yeah, well then, okay, if it's like one of those things where it all calls back, like that's great. But like, just in isolation, I'm just like, I could write something better.
Yeah, in the
No, I
beginning-
mean, don't like get any ideas. Like, I would never like. I'm probably not as talented as some of these writers, but like, I mean, I could give it a shot. But look, I just, I don't know. I just don't know. don't think I would be able to, like, I would have to be very selective. Like, all of these bullshit, like, side quest movies or TV shows, or like if there was only one character or whatever. I don't feel like diving into that right now. Like, I would only want to watch that. And I hope that I don't need to watch any of these other ones to help with the OG series.
No, the OG series actually would help you understand the other ones. There's certain callbacks and things in the newer series that call back to the original if you have gotten that far up.
You know
So
what? I just wish they would make as many of these, like, but for Invincible, the superior comic
actually,
book.
this is by the same guy.
I know. I wish they would do that with the Invincible cartoon and just fucking do it already, and just give me season 3 like yesterday. Like,
Yeah,
now
season
now
two
I
was
gotta wait
amazing.
2 years. Now I'm a part of the waiting party. Like, and I don't even like superhero stuff. So,
Actually, 1 year. They're already done with the next season. It was just delayed because of COVID.
oh, well, then
They
release
started
it.
working on 2 and 3, but it's Amazon's release schedule, so Amazon's to blame for that bullshit.
Well, just fucking release it already. It's like, just do it. I don't want to wait.
So yeah, this is also S tier. This is all part, like the Governor's arc is like basically 2 seasons, so I'm gonna put that in the S tier as well. That's
Which
the
Walking Dead did you put in the other tier?
that was the one we were just watching. So this is part 1 and part 2 of season 4.
No, the one below. That's in Carl.
Oh, this one is the first part of season 3, which introduces the governor. This one, he attacked the prison twice, and this was the first attack, and it was all right, but it kind of leads into what they were talking about, where he tried to take the prison before and he failed, but the second
Oh,
time
I
he had a
gotcha.
fucking tank. So that's
Okay.
how they broke it up. It was a very weird creative choice. So
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you just like rank like the whole season as opposed to 2 different parts? That's why you have so
that's
many.
how the tier maker broke it up.
Oh, I gotcha. So you just found one and you didn't add any images or anything. You just
No,
did,
no, it just broke it up on its own.
and then
So
wrote
it's
different
like
rankings,
breaking it.
and then wrote in different titles for rankings.
Yeah. So, and really, there is a difference between part ones and part twos because they're two separate stories, but in one season. So it'll
Um,
be like 8 episodes and then a season final. And that kind of wraps up the story, and some of the stuff carries over, and then it's the next season. You know what I mean? And then the final. Um, so it was just it's just kind of weird how they just it's really AMC and how they decided to do it. They started doing like 8 and 8, so it didn't feel like you were watching 16 episodes.
mhm.
That basically each part tells its own story, but the larger story isn't wrapped up until the end of the 16 episodes. I don't know. It's really fucking weird. So moving
You know
on.
what? You know what? I'm gonna look this up real quick. Go ahead.
So moving on, this was season 3 and season 4 I rated. So season 4 was kind of where the whole governor arc ends. So this is the end of season 4, and this is where the prison blows up and everybody gets split up. So this is part 2, and I've got mixed feelings because everyone gets split up, but this has one of the greatest Walking Dead episodes. There's quite a few of them, but it's called The Grove, and everybody who's a Walking Dead fan knows the episode The Grove. There's two little girls who have been in the last few seasons, and one little girl is deathly afraid of zombies and shit, and the other little girl is kind of a psychopath and thinks of them as like puppies. And so, uh, having lost her own daughter, Carol takes these girls under her wing to kind of train them and stuff. And this fucking psychopath blonde hair little girl gets her sister killed. She basically stabs her sister and has a zombie bite her so that they can be together forever. And so Carol having to kill her, kill the other little girl, she takes her out into these fields of flowers and she tells her to look at the flowers and she fucking shoots her in the back of the head, and that's the end of the episode. It is the most heart-wrenching, emotionally gut-punching episode of The Walking Dead I think that they ever did. And of course, it also has the famous episode A where he says the line, they have no clue who they are fucking with. And it was the first time AMC allowed the F word to get through on actual television station.
No.
Yeah, they edited it at first and then they re-released it, and AMC got bought by a streamer, so they now use the uncut. They don't know who they're fucking with.
Oh my gosh. So
In the
I just
original broadcast version, he says they don't know who they're messing with, but later on, and it was clearly
in the
dubbed
home
over.
release, or
Yeah, on the DVD release, and now when they stream it on Amazon, it's uncut. So,
oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
yeah,
By the
so-
way, I tried to Google how long is The Walking Dead, but I was trying to find out the entire franchise. Didn't give me a clear answer, but it's approximately, let's say, it's about 10 whole days or more, varying, like, worth of content. 10 days straight.
you could get,
You know how long that's gonna fucking take me to fucking
can
watch
get
all that?
through-
I don't have 10 days.
you
to
can
do
get through
that.
season 1 in under a day. It's only 6 episodes.
God, no, this is gonna take me a fucking month if I only dedicate myself to watching this and literally fucking nothing else. I don't think I can put myself through that. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Star Trek is too long. This is too long. Too long. Fucking ended. You fucking cash.
Oh, they did.
prick.
It's done. All
it
the
actually
seasons are
done?
on Netflix.
It's all done.
It's all done.
No more.
Well, there's the spinoffs, but the main OG series is
I'm not
done.
talking about the OG. I am one of those people who, if I'm going to get into a series, I really need to watch all of that. All of it. I want to
Okay,
watch all of
so
it.
if
But
you want to just finish, like say you wanted to start The Walking Dead, the OG series, and then
Mhm.
finish it, you would watch The Walking Dead and then The Ones Who Lives, and then you could walk away from it. These other spin-offs,
all right,
they
so
have characters from the mainline show, but it's not important to. You don't have to complete it if you don't want to.
oh,
You don't
okay.
even have to watch Fear the Walking Dead. That's just a spin-off of this one. All you'd have to do
Yeah. Well, at
is
least
watch
this
the-
is more digestible than Star Trek.
Oh yeah, Star Trek, you'd be doing that shit forever. You know how long it took me to fucking finish that? Holy fucking shit. To be a
Was
fan
it
of
worth
that.
it?
Oh. It was worth it
worth
though.
it?
It was worth it. For Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, like those were great ones. And the OG Star Trek, yeah, I'd say it was worth
I
it.
watched the first episode on Netflix, and apparently it was like The Cage, like the original pilot, because Netflix fucked up the order or something.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there confused as fuck. I'm like, this sucks. This series should never have gotten picked up. And I
Yeah,
almost
that's
wish it
because you were
didn't.
like in the middle.
Yeah, I almost wish it didn't get picked up. If that's the original pilot, I would have been like, no, as an executive, we're like, no, let's not do this. I would not. That would have been a terrible decision, but man,
So
it was that bad. It was so horrible.
I'm now on to season 5.
All
Which
right. I should probably head out of here though. But
All right, nice to have you on. Just to have,
yes.
hey, Lemon Pie. Nice to have you on. Just to have you get maybe kind of interested. Hope that clip maybe swayed you a little bit, piqued your interest slightly.
Oh well, yeah, good acting. I'm intrigued, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it tomorrow or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely keep it on your list. You can go through seasons 1 through 11 and then watch the ones who live, and then you'd be done. And it's all on AMC, so you can.
You know Yeah, and you know what's kind of cool about that is, you know how there is like YouTube reactors who like just react to shows and stuff, and a lot of them, I feel like they're bullshitting because they're running out of things they haven't seen yet. I have like 3 solid series that I could do: Walking Dead, Star Trek, and Doctor Who. And all these fucking nerds would love to see it. My reaction, maybe, but I say nerds as a term of endearment. But man, I don't know if I want to go through with that. I just don't know. It would be a great way to like do something cheap on YouTube, but
Just think, I have watched every one of these. This is thousands. I watched it when it came out. Like I have.
see, that's easy. That's easier to do that. And I didn't know when the
No,
fuck.
I
It was
mean,
gonna
I
end.
had to wait weeks, and then after I had to wait months to a year for the next season. That's how fucking long I've been dedicated to The Walking Dead. It just ended last year. The mainline show just ended. Like
It said in like
I
2022. Did
yeah,
it? How did it? Did it end on a high note or did it kind of suck?
no, it fucking sucked. Go right into the ones who lives. Nothing gets answered. No one gets a fucking arc. We'll get to the last season when I get to it, but no, it goes downhill at about season 6 or 7. That's where you'll see a sharp decline in writing, acting,
Yeah, because
characters.
people have said like the when Negan's introduced, it's the beginning of the end of like then it starts to
Negan
suck.
is a great character, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan does a great job. It's the way they structure the show and how they write it. And the problem is, it works better if you watch it streaming because you don't have to wait a week. So if you get a boring episode, you could just move on to the next one, and then it picks back up. But when you
Yeah,
have to
just tell me
wait,
when it's boring so and unimportant so I can skip it. Like,
no,
you know what?
that's the thing
This
though.
is what I had to do with Game of Thrones. There were entire storylines that I skipped in order to get to the storylines I wanted to. Like the little girl with the half burnt face, her story was boring. When she finally got burned on the cross, I was like, fucking finally, I can start watching the whole episode again. Like,
See, I
you know,
can't watch shows like that.
dude,
I gotta
dude.
even take the good with the bad. That's part of the ranking.
No,
Like,
no, that's I don't put up with that because I don't put up with discount Lord of the Rings bullshit. I can't do it. I can, you know, I would not have been a Lord of the Rings fan if I didn't see it in the theaters as a child. I probably wouldn't. It would be too no, but I did, and I loved it, and it's sort of like an outlier. So like
oh,
with
and if you ever watch Fear the Walking Dead because you get interested, only watch the first like 4 seasons. After that, you don't need to watch anymore. It goes down. When I tell you the writing goes down a cliff, it's like someone took a fucking car and just drove that motherfucker right off the cliff. The car fell down the cliff. It exploded. The kids and children are screaming in the back. The father's trying to get him out. He can't. Burned his hand, and you're like, ah, the humanity. It it's that fucking bad. Like you want to talk about bad quality writing? Fucking Fear the Walking Dead, its final seasons. Oh my god. The last episode was so mediocre that people thought it was a good ending because the rest of the season and series before that had gotten so bad that the piss poor ending they came up with for Fear the Walking Dead, people actually gave like a 6 to, which me I give a 3 or a 2. Uh, it's the most nonsensical fucking ending, but that wraps up pretty cleanly too, but in a very stupid way. Uh, yeah, Fear the Walking Dead, they lost one of their main stars, Vincent something. He was really good. Once he left the show, that's where you can mark, well, they killed his character off, but that's where you can mark the fucking sharp decline in Fear the Walking Dead. So, yeah, Walking Dead, once they lost Rick, it was pretty much that was where the show pretty much started becoming hard to get through.
Yeah, and like there's other things that I kind of want to know. Like I guess like Carl had 2 eyes at one point. What the fuck? They almost cut his
Oh
arm off
yeah,
for some reason.
yeah.
I don't know why. I
Oh,
think Rick was supposed to lose his hand. Some limbs were not lost in this show.
oh no. That's why I said you have to watch the ones who live. Rick does eventually lose his hand, but this year on this spinoff, fucking finally. That was
Wait, he
another
actually
thing.
does on a spinoff, and it hasn't come out yet.
No, it's already out. That's the one I did recently. The ones
Was
who
it
live.
good? Was it good?
It was gnarly, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the graphic novel because in the graphic novel the governor cuts his hand off. In this one he cuts his own hand off, but it's definitely a Rick move. He's fucking goes into beast mode and he cuts his own hand off.
Did he get infected finally?
No, he set an axe on fire, and while it was like orange because the tip was so hot, he just lobbed that motherfucker off.
Why?
He was trying to escape from the CRM. To go into that one would take a couple hours to explain all of what was going on. But basically, this organization captured him. He was trying to escape to get back to Michonne, and they had him on this like leash thing that's like has a thing in his hand so that if he gets too far, they shock you and then pull your ass back. And so he cut his whole fucking hand off while they were clearing zombies, and he pulled his stump out of it and started running.
He didn't bring the severed hand?
Fuck no, this is the apocalypse. Where is he gonna get it fucking attached?
There are doctors still around.
Nah, man, there's very few doctors left. As a matter of fact, that's a plot point in one of the seasons of The Walking Dead. How limited doctors are actually in this world, and the two that I knew of got fucking offed like season 3.
Why would you try to wait? Is it zombies that got them, or is it like
No, that clip you saw, that old guy Herschel, he was a doctor, and then in the previous part,
why did they kill the doctors? Like why would you do that?
because that was the only way he could get Rick to surrender, or thought he could get him to surrender, because Herschel was a main character and the father to those daughters, and
Gotcha.
everybody loved him. So
well, I got it. And that poor old man, he was just like, happy to live his life, whatever. And then
yeah,
yeah.
and he knew he was gonna die.
I mean, all right, I'll put this into consideration, but if it's not better than Zombieland by the first like 2 episodes, and how long are these episodes?
For the first season, I want to say the first episode is an hour and 7 minutes, but then they're all 44 minutes.
I'll give it 2 episodes, and if I'm not intrigued, I'm out.
Oh, I guarantee you, because the first 2 episodes are like the best, and then it just gets better from there.
We'll see, because you've ruined a lot of it for me. So I'm like, what's the point at the same time? But I invited myself into it and I spoiled a lot for myself, but it is what it is. Anyways, take it easy, man. Sorry, I probably added another 45 minutes to your runtime. And you're never gonna get through this.
It's gonna take forever.
All right. I'm sorry you can't do it with a friend, but I wish I could help. Anyways, take care, man, and I will, at the very least, give it a shot.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we are on season 5. This is where I get conflicted with these. Season 5, part 1. The first episodes deal with Terminus, and of course, if you guys have been watching The Walking Dead, Terminus was a place that they thought they'd be safe, and unfortunately, it is not a safe place. People are being eaten. There's a cannibal group that's eating people they come across. So yeah, the whole first part is Terminus. This is also the season where they find this hospital place. Beth does. There's a whole arc there. I'm really conflicted about season 5 because certain parts of this season is good. Certain parts are meh, especially for the first 8 episodes. It does end with the episode Coda, which is super good. And that is also when the most non-character in the world dies, Beth. I never really liked her. there's there's an interesting episode with Beth and Daryl, but on the whole, I would give this about a B. Um, it's a good, solid season. The cracks that would show in the show don't quite show here, but it just the first 8 episodes are kind of jarring. Everybody's kind of all over the place. It's okay. It's all right. So we get to the next 8 episodes, part 2. And this is where we start to get into the arc of of them going to this new community that they discover, called Alexandria Safe Zone. Um, there is a governor lady there. Her name is Deanna. And this is where Rick tries to be the local sheriff guy. They all come in. They get recruited by one of my favorite characters and the introduction of Jesus. They call him Jesus because he has long hair. He kicks ass, kind of does like taekwondo. He has a sword. He's a pretty awesome character. I feel like this season introduces him well, but at a point they really don't know what to do with him. But all in all, this is a great season. There is a whole subplot with uh, this dude Pete who is abusing his wife, and Rick trying to get used to being in a normal kind of society, and his inner rage and the things he deals with, and then it ends with him. Uh, I believe this was the season. Yeah, it ends with him like killing the dude who abuses his wife, and then that's when we meet up with our long lost friend. Hey, Generation Productions, just doing a tier list ranking for The Walking Dead. Welcome. So it ends with Rick killing this guy and Morgan finding him, and he's just in a pit of rage, and it's okay. It's all right. Didn't mind it. Um, I will give it a We Are the Walking Dead. It is a B. Um, it's all right. It's fine for what it has to do. Conquer is a good episode, and that really determined stuff. Now we're getting into season 6, the first part. Uh, season 6 is a very odd season. This is where we kind of start to get into Morgan found him. We get into Morgan's backstory, how he got there. The first episode is about, or the first kind of break is them trying to uh, deal with this herd of walkers, things like that. And I'm gonna put this first part into Jadis. I give it a C. The first part of this season is kind of bland. I don't really like it. Um, and season 6 is where you really start to see the writing pick up. And we have Abraham and great people, but uh, there, the whole thing with the herd, I just was not into. The season finale for this is there's 2 storylines with the herd and the wolves. And at the end of the day, it was okay. It was all right. Let's go into part 2 of this season, and this is where you get into the last day on Earth. They go more into the wolves. There is the introduction of the saviors. And this is where people start having a divide on their list on how they feel about the last few seasons of The Walking Dead. The introduction of Negan and the way they play with Glenn's death, they do a fake out in this season, and you think he's dead once when he goes with this fucking complete jackass on a run, and the dude tries to leave him behind. And then you get to the episode that is very controversial called The Last Day on Earth, where the hilltop in the previous episode took out a satellite um, structure that belonged to the mysterious Negan, and uh, it's kind of the consequences. And there's the talk of these saviors who are going to retaliate, and it kind of it kind of builds up the saviors, but nothing happens till about the 16th episode, where finally they get corralled and we're introduced to Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character Negan for the first time. Um, so I'm gonna give this one a B rate ranking as well. It's good. It's okay. For me, it's just super slow getting to the point of what's going on. Uh, it's okay. It's all right. It's it's hard for me to explain my feelings on this one because it's like it's super slow. And when I watched them, they weren't all available on streaming. It was like I waited week to week. So leaving off on these cliffhangers were bad. This one, there was a year and a half in between the next two. So they kind of leave it where they tease a couple of main characters dying. And so now we jump into season 7. And season 7 is the most contentious season, along with season 8 and 9. Season 7 is the introduction of Negan. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm a complete Negan whore. I'm going to put this in the A tier. Season 7, and I love. Yes, I think there's a lot of slow parts to it. But overall, the first episode really upped the stakes at how serious everything was. Um, we get to meet the kingdom, and the kingdom is fucking awesome. Ezekiel is one of my favorite characters, and he has a giant fucking tiger. There's just so much fun in this season. I think it gets a lot of undue shit because of people having to wait, but I think this is a solid season, and I think the backlash behind it is not really uh, justified. So, um, here we sort of start to get into where there's issues. So season 8, part 1 is just them trying to gather people behind Negan's back. And in the season final, I really enjoyed it. Basically, Negan comes to the town and says one of the greatest lines ever. This fucking coward kid who has been basically fucking Rick the whole entire time tries to get Negan to take him out, and Negan has a line where he's talking about how if you want to kill him, hell, do it yourself. I know what your problem is. You just don't have any guts. And he fucking guts the dude. And, it's a corny line. I know it's kind of whatever, but I like it. I thought it was fun. So, we get into part 2, and part 2 has Rise Up, The Other Side, and the final, The First Day of the Rest of Your Life, which is the slow death of Sasha. I never liked Sasha as a character. This one I am going to put into the uh, B's. I mean, hell, I could probably even put it into the C's, but I think the acting from the actress who plays Sasha is very good. The moment when you realize she suffocated herself, uh, it was all decently done. And now we get into the All Out War saga, which takes us from season 8 into just about season 9. Or no, I think they do it all in season 8. Yeah, because season 9 is different. So season 8 is the All Out War saga broken up into 2 parts. So let's talk about part 1, which is the um, ongoing war. There's little skirmishes. This season is mixed for good reasons. There's a couple of action scenes, but the break for this has one of the worst action scenes ever between Negan and Rick. And I mean, it's cool fist fight, but nothing really happens. There's no stakes or consequences. I put it in C. Um, this is really where you could see them forcing this 2 structure. Uh, Carl also loses his eye at the end of the season. It's kind of teased. He may or may not live, but he winds up living. So we get to the next season, and this is where the big mistake comes in, and another controversial death that really hurt the series. This is where they kill Carl, and I have mixed feelings about this because they killed him off not because it was part of the grand plan. He was actually supposed to stay in the series for a while, but it was a disagreement with Scott Gimple, who to this day people regret that he says he regrets this decision, but he's a piece of shit. So I don't know. But yeah, this season is the climactic battle, and to tell you the truth, it wasn't very climactic. It had the ending from the graphic novel, but kind of out of context. And once again, I'd have to say this is a C for me. The season has very good episodes, but there's like 2 or 3 episodes that are good. Honor with Carl's death is good. Worth is a good episode, and episode 16, Wrath. The rest of them in between kind of feel like filler. And this is where the show has a real hard time maintaining its, I don't know, it has a hard time balancing action, storytelling, and it's just not very good. So, anyways, so we have the next stories that come up. Negan is in prison, and we are on season 9 and the first 8 episodes of season 9. This is Rick's departure. I'm going to give this a B. Some of the stories are slow. A lot of people don't like it, but I still was mildly entertained. So the season, I think it's the 4th or 5th episode. Yeah. Uh, what comes after is when Rick departed from the show, and you can really start to feel after those episodes the loss of Rick, and then it does a time jump to like 6 years later, and there's I think it's Evolution. Yeah, I want to say Evolution, where we are introduced to the back end villains, which will be the Whisperers. And the Whisperer arc, for me, I know some people didn't like it. I absolutely loved it. But the Whisperer arc is where it kind of picks up. And Evolution is unfortunately where we lose our favorite hero. The godly man himself, Jesus, is killed. And I just thought it was really good. So yeah, I put it up in the C's, like, or yeah, in the B's, because it's okay, it's fine, it's better than the all-out war conclusion. So now we get to the second part, which is adaptation, Omega, Bounty, Guardians, Checkpoint, Scars, and the calm before. This is where we have the full-on Whisperers interacting with people, and I'm going to put this in Carl A. I don't think it's top-tier writing, but it's very high-quality writing. This also has one of the best fights between Carl and Omega, where Omega and Carl have like a fist fight, and dude is built like a fucking brick. And also, this is where the actor from Sons of Anarchy, who plays Jax's best friend, plays Omega in this, and he is a fucking huge man. And he fits Omega very well. So if you don't know, the structures of the Whisperers is the Alpha, who's the head, the Omega, who is the second in command, the Beta, who's like the third, and then the rest just kind of follow them. And the Whisperers will be pretty prominent until you get to the, I think, last 3 seasons. So they kind of really stretch this storyline out, and it ends with the calm before, and that's where like 4 or 5 people die at the end of this, and that's why I put it at a A. They did the Whisperers right. We get into the Storm, which is the calm is several deaths, and then the Storm is our first winter in the Walking Dead universe. It is super cool. Loved it. So it was good stuff. So we are into season 10, broken up into fucking 3 different parts. Or is it 2 parts? I want to say no. I think this one was 3. So season 10, this is the this is when Michonne leaves from the series, so we're losing another mainstay character, and then it kind of falls on Negan and the rest, and this is where the writing goes downhill. But this has some pretty good episodes. So for the first couple episodes here in the first part, I'm going to give it a solid B. This is where you get the Negan infiltrating the Whisperers. This is the last like 3 episodes that Michonne is in, or 4. Yeah, she's in the first 4, and then she departs to find Rick. And then, the rest, you have Negan and Carol's plan to overthrow Alpha. Or no, she's in the. Okay, she's up to episode 13. I think it's 13. She leaves somewhere in this series. So, yeah, I give those first episodes a solid B. They're pretty good. The next set of episodes deal with the fallout of trying to kill Alpha. There's a final push with Omega. There is the last episode, the last huge episode with Omega raising an army, a herd to fight. It's a big spectacle. I'm going to give this one also a B. I really enjoyed this whole arc. Angela Kang took over the writing and the producing and show running, and I think she captures the Whisperers really well. I really liked it. There were some characters I didn't like. They were offed pretty quickly. But all in all, it was a solid season. So here's where we get into what I don't like. So there's this person called Princess. The comics do her very well. The show does not. The aesthetics are good, but the character feels very off. These last episodes are setting up for kind of the next threat, which is the Commonwealth, and they are supposed to be the big bads that will be leading up. And they teased the return of Maggie. She left the show, and then she was coming back. I remember the lead up, but it was disappointing because she wasn't in this season. It does have one of the best episodes, though, in recent Walking Dead history, and that would be Here's Negan, which explains his whole backstory and why he is the way he is. And just for that, I'm going to bump this one up to a C. This one would be crap, but the Here's Negan episode saves this because it is one of the best episodes, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan knocks it out of the fucking park. The rest of this season is really disappointing. So we get to season 11. Now I'm torn about season 11, and we'll get into part 1, part 2, and part 3. But part 1 has a very good setup. The first 5 episodes or so, how do they break it up? It's like, I'd say the first couple episodes are pretty good. They're setting up some good stuff. Maggie's a pretty huge player in this role. So for the first part, and Maggie coming back and all of that, I will give this a C. It was hard to get through some of the episodes. Some of them were boring, but all in all, it was all right. I still don't think it was crap, but it was okay. So the second part of the Commonwealth story, these are both going to go into F tier trash. These two last parts are god awful. The main villain of the Commonwealth, what the fuck is his name? He's so terrible, I forgot his name. Hold on a second. There is my favorite, who is Mercer. Mercer's a good character, but Governor Milton, yeah, he's a terrible villain. Fucking hated him. He was like a knockoff governor. It was just a terrible fucking arc. That is bad. The the uh, the add-ons were just terrible. The people who are old enough to show, honestly, at this part are Maggie and Daryl. The acting goes downhill, the directing goes downhill. These final ones, and the final episode is the worst travesty. Rest in Pieces is one of the worst finals. It's not a series final, it's a season final. It wraps up nothing. And if you want a satisfying ending for the 11th season of The Walking Dead, watch The Ones Who Live. That will wrap things up for you. Even though I have my gripes and I put it in B, um, that is a more conclusive ending, at least to Rick and Michonne and two of the characters, than this is. They all just basically go their own ways and go to spinoffs. It's fucking terrible. So let's move on to my final ones. Fear the Walking Dead. Oh boy. This is an interesting show. So let's get into it. The first season of Fear the Walking Dead. Right away, I'm just going to let you guys know. This is going to be S tier. Fear the Walking Dead's first season was amazing. It gave me hope. I really bought into this spinoff theory. It's very good. The unique thing about Fear the Walking Dead is that its storyline takes place as the outbreak is happening, and it's this small family who's just trying to live through this. And it's really good for a while. Madison is the main character and her kind of clan. It's the Clark clan, so you have Madison, Clark, you have Nick Clark, you have Travis, who's the husband, and you have Alicia Clark. And these are the main focal points. And you'll see my problems with this show as we go along further here. Because boy, does this show go down a fucking cliff. So season 1 is very good. Season 2, equally good. So season 1 is them getting out of, I believe they're in Los Angeles, and the whole point is to get on a boat. They get on the boat, and it pretty much ends. So it's a solid season. I liked it. It was really good. Um, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I liked it. It was some good stuff. So season 1 had 6 episodes. Season 2 goes to the 15 episode structure. And then season 3 is kind of where we start to get the issues that come into Fear the Walking Dead, but I'll get into that in a bit. So season 2, basically they get on the boat and it's them going across the waters or trying to figure stuff out. And I want to give a shout out. Coleman Domingo is a great actor. He plays a character in here. What the fuck is his name? Fuck, I forget. Uh, Not Daniel. Who does he play? James? No. Oh, Victor. Victor Strand. He's really strong in these first couple of seasons. Then they kind of don't know what to do with him. So, yeah, so season 2, good stuff. All right, so now, so season 3 is when they end up, I believe, in Mexico, and they also unceremoniously kill the husband, and this one I'm gonna drop this one down to a B. It's good, but this is where the cracks in the storyline start showing. There's a couple of things that happen. It's okay. So let's move on to season 4. And oh boy. So let's see. Season 4, is that the season? I think that is the season where let's see. I want to say a regular director left, but I think that this is the season. Is this the season Nick dies in? Is it season 4? God, it's been such a long time. I'm trying to see the character from previous MCs. Yeah. Okay. So, season 4, the first part is when Nick dies, and this is where it really starts to go downhill. But for part 1, I love the format and everything. I will put this up in A. Now, season 4, part 2, I'm going to put into B. And I kind of already know these rankings. So, season 4, part 2, we lose Nick. We gain Morgan, but it goes into this weird journalist style kind of thing with this one character who's recording everything for posterity's sakes. I don't know. It gets really fucking weird. And this is kind of where it starts to go off the rails a little bit now. Season 4, there's this whole thing with this dam that breaks or so, I think, and some of the characters are implied to be dead, but they're not dead. It's a whole thing. Now, season 5 is where Madison Clark, the other main character who's left, departs the show, and I'm going to put this in Judas C. This season has some good episodes, but you can start to see where the writing goes downhill. It starts to get really terrible. Dialogue doesn't make sense. Choices the characters make don't make sense. And now we'll get to the easiest ranking. So, season 5, crap. Season 6, part 1, part 2, crap. And they kill off Dylan, who was one of my favorite characters. I think it's in 5 or 6. Season 7, part 1 and part 2, crap. This season, crap. I'm not even going to bother putting them in any order. They're just shit. From basically from the end of this season on, Fear the Walking Dead turns to other crap. The last season, okay, I was a little harsh. The last season, the last part, I will put up in C because the ending was decent, but the rest of it was written poorly. These are the worst products, and as you can see, they've had more hits and misses. Most of their stuff stays in B's or A's. The top tier here is the first like 4 or 5 seasons of The Walking Dead, the first 2 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, and then you can kind of see the drop in the quality here. All right, sorry about that. My headset decided it just was going to die. It's been too long. But anyways, this is pretty much my tier list. We have at the top the first couple of Walking Deads, the first couple of Fear the Walking Dead, the first like 2 seasons. On the A tier, we have 2 of the 3 new spin-offs, the a couple of seasons of The Walking Dead, and the later seasons of Fear the Walking Dead. In the B column, we have The Ones Who Live, the last spinoff. Hopefully, they don't make a season 2. That ending sucked. And then the rest of The Walking Dead's kind of the Whisperers arc, a couple of arcs from Fear 1. Here in C, we have the second season of The World Beyond, the All Out War saga with Negan for this because it just kind of dips. some of the Commonwealth stuff, and then we have Fear the Walking Dead, the 4th season and the introduction of Morgan, and the very last season. And then in trash, absolute garbage, we have The World Beyond, Tales of the Walking Dead, almost every season of Fear the Walking Dead, and the final parts of season 11 of The Walking Dead, which was just god awful trash. And this is where you could see the writing going downhill. So The Walking Dead, folks, has a lot of variation to it. There's some good, there's some bad. All in all, do I regret dedicating damn near 11 years on a mainline show and God knows how many other years alternating between Fear the Walking Dead, these fucking awful spin-offs I just started watching, and oh, I'm going to do a tier list on the games. The games are kind of their own things. I like most of the Telltale games. The brand new one, Destinies, was garbage. Some of the VR stuff is trash. Don't worry, GP. I'll do a tier list for you on the other media of The Walking Dead. Also, and also interested in knowing if you, and also interesting, I didn't know there was a TV show. Yeah, it's basically how they got the games. So if you're interested in watching The Walking Dead, I would suggest going through seasons 1 through probably 9 or 10. You could stop at 10 when Michonne leaves. Season 10, like episode 13, you're good. And then you can just watch The Ones Who Lives. If you want to put yourself through the pain that I did, you can go through all 11 seasons of The Walking Dead and stop at The Ones Who Live. Now, if you're curious and you want to watch some spin-offs, then boot up the old Amazon or go to AMC.com, not sponsored, and check out Daryl Dixon and Dead City, which has Negan and Maggie, and Daryl Dixon is, of course, Daryl's show. Other than that, I would say, do I consider this a giant waste of my time? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I think to myself, I dedicated when I first started watching this show, I was in my early 20s and I'm now approaching my 40s and I have finally completed the fucking every piece of media for The Walking Dead. And I can overall say I have in fact wasted a good chunk of my life. Not Game of Thrones or Dexter wasted my life, but it is still a very lackluster ending. And I blame Scott Gimple, and I've gone on record, and you guys can see my other reviews of the 3 spinoffs. Scott Gimple, as long as he's in charge, he's a soul-sucking monster who doesn't give a shit about this show and just wants to churn out as many spinoffs as he can. Now, some of the writers and directors are good, but all in all, you can stop at any of these points. You could just watch the original show and stop before you get to season 11. And you could be happy with that. But I would definitely say this is a huge commitment. And I honestly don't know how I feel with my life choices. What is that on my eye? Is that a piece of glitter? That was super fucking weird. But yeah. All in all, I feel like I wasted a great deal of my life. Do all TV shows, movies, games all fit within the same timeline? The games do crisscross with the show. As a matter of fact, some characters make an appearance. Glenn is in one of the games, and I think maybe somebody else from The Walking Dead makes an appearance in one of the Telltale games. But yeah, those are the more closely connected ones, but they're kind of their own thing. That's why I don't include them on this list. They don't impact the story in any way. They're just kind of side quests. Walking Dead Destinies is the show remixed, and you can play as Rick or Shane, and certain paths you take influence it. It's a terrible game. Don't waste your time. But I'll probably do a separate review on those because the games are I consider them in their own universe. So I'm kind of going to do those differently. But yeah, that's my whole breakdown of The Walking Dead. This is everything I've dedicated to. I don't think it's CW bad. I kind of tapped out of Flash after season 5. But I do feel like 11 years I did not get all the answers that I was hoping for in some of these shows. And it's very disheartening following something this long as I have. But Daryl Dixon was good. Dead City was great. And The Ones Who Lives gives me closure for Rick and Michonne as characters. So I guess if you get closure, you should be happy with that. But that doesn't mean that you can't point out the lack of quality. And I think if they just focus on 2 or 3 shows instead of having Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, uh, The World Beyond, and Tales of the Walking Dead, if they just kind of simplify it and just have 3 main shows, I think they can focus quality rather than quantity. But Scott Gimple wants to create several more spinoffs. So he's going to run this fucking franchise into the ground. And I'm kind of tapping out right there. I watched Daryl and I watched Dead City. And if they all get together in an Avengers style event, I'll watch that too. But I'm kind of done with the other stuff. I don't care about the other side projects. And that was my experience with the main one, the one that started it all. So thank you everybody for watching. This is almost 2 fucking hours of me explaining this very complex show. And if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to fight the algorithm, then tell people about this video, share it. You know, I'm on Twitter, tag the post, tag other people in, get them to watch this video. But this was a passion piece I've been meaning to do for a while. Most people probably didn't know I've been a huge Walking Dead fan for years. And I've been in those groups and in those debates. And it's a real shame to see the quality that was The Walking Dead for the first like 5 seasons and where it's at now. And that spin-offs are actually better than the OG show or the original spin-off, Fear the Walking Dead. My God, that shit went down in flames. But that's kind of where we are at as fans. And I can honestly say the same person who's controlled this is also the architect of its destruction. But thank you, everyone. I really appreciate having you. Thank you, Proper, for jumping on. Thank you, Generation Productions. Thank you, Lemon Pie, and everybody who was popping in and out watching this. I appreciate you. And as always, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone: kneel before that fucking awesome sheriff hat worn by the best protagonist ever created, Rick Grimes.